welcome. You're watching NewsX and I'm Shivani Singh. Zimbabwe fired on all cylinders and produced a terrific all-round performance, one which leaves Australia with no answers as they slip to a loss that leaves Group B wide open and for the taking. The first big upset of the tournament and a statement win for Zimbabwe. They mean business. Brian Bennett top scored with 54 not out in the first innings as Zimbabwe finished on 169 for 2. But it was with the ball that the team showed their threat. Blessing Zurabani broke the back of the batting in the power play in which Australia lost 4 wickets. Matt Renshaw and Glenn Maxwell re-stabilised, but the run rate threat told and allowed Zimbabwe to coast to a 23-run victory. With that, let's in fact take a look at the match summary and the top defining moments of the match. This is a very big upset in the history of T20 World Cup. Let's in fact look at how Zimbabwe managed to do that. This is the match summary. Match 19 of 55 at Premadesa Stadium in Colombo, and we have Zimbabwe getting a score of 169 for 2 in 20 overs. We have Brian Bennett 64 not out for 56 balls. We have Marumani with 35, we have Ryan Burl with 35 as well, Raza with 25 not out, and we have in fact the bowling figures as well. Muzrabani over here 4 for 17 in 4 overs, Brad Evans with 3 for 23 in 3.3 overs, and Ryan Burl as well. So those were some of the stats that came to the fore. Let's also look at some of those defining moments. You have Zimbabwe's strong batting foundation. Zimbabwe amassed their highest T20I score against Australia, which is 169 for 2 in 20 overs, led by Brian Bennett's unbeatable 64 of 56 balls. We also have early Australian collapse in the power play. Like we mentioned, Zimbabwe's bowlers dominated the first 6 overs, claiming 4 wickets to leave Australia reeling at a very low score and losing some of their top batters. Travis Head's early dismissal also played a very vital role. Zimbabwe's bowlers dominated the first 6 overs, claiming 4 wickets to leave Australia reeling with a very low score as well. And Cameron Green and Tim David were out for ducks. So Cameron Green and Tim David out for ducks, worsening Australia's top order collapse. So that's what we witnessed during this match. And Matt Renshaw's fighting knocker. Obviously, Matt tried over here to make sure there was a fighting chance for Australia. He came back with a fighting and a defining knock during the match as well. And the crucial 77-run partnership, Renshaw and Glenn Maxwell combined for a vital 5th wicket stand to reach 105 for 4 at one stage, briefly reviving Australia's hope. So there was a brief period, but unfortunately we saw that upset, and this is in fact something that has gathered a lot of attention as well. Let's discuss this further with guests who are joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Sunil Yashkalra, cricket scholar, John Nyambu, former Zimbabwe cricketer, and Noel David, former Indian cricketer. Let me in fact go across first to Mr. Kalra. Mr. Kalra, obviously we have been discussing this, but as per you, the highlight of this match?
Well, it's a great moment for Zimbabwean, and before I take over and talk about the highlight, let me not steal the thunder away from my friend John Nyambu. Of course, he took 5 wickets at his on his debut as an off spinner. Today we are sandwiched between Indian off spinner, which is Noel David, and John Nyambu. So, John, are you excited, exhilarated, or are you still pinching yourself to believe that you've beaten Australia? Over to you, John Nyambu.
Yeah, I mean, thank you very much for having me on your show once again. And yeah, it's a very good day for Zimbabwe cricket. And yeah, I think the boys played well. We laid a good foundation with the bat. It was a little bit tough in the middle, but we held on. And the biggest thing for me is that we only lost a few wickets. But to see that bowling display especially from a not 100% fit Blessing Zarabani to be able to bowl the way he did against a formidable team like Australia. I mean, just shows the leaps and bounds that these fellas have grown in their cricket and as a team. So a very good day for Zimbabwe cricket.
Well, absolutely. This is not the first time that uh, Zimbabwe has crossed the line against Australia. It happened 2 years ago, and it did happen last in the first time it happened in 1983. Any memories of 1983 and the previous World Cup in 2024? Any standout performance, considering Zimbabwe has gone through a lot in the last couple of years? Your views, John?
Unfortunately, 1983, I wasn't born yet, but I managed to witness the 2007 one in South Africa. I managed to play in the 2014 victory in Zimbabwe. I managed to witness the last T20 World Cup that they played in Zimbabwe won. And for me, what it all boiled down to on all those victories was the way everyone pulled in the right direction. I mean, everyone played their part. Yes, there were standout performances, but then you could see that as a team, there was some gelling. Like today, we saw how substitute fielders came onto the field because there were some injuries and they pulled off some massive stops. Tony Munyonga taking that diving catch at the crucial time of the match. And that's just how Zimbabwe is. We fight and we try and make sure that everyone is in the game, everyone is in the ring, just punching, and we just hope that things go the way they did today more often than not.
John, just take us through the final moments of the victory. We saw Sikandar Raza, I mean, absolutely over the moon on that particular moment. But how is it at that point of time, if you were watching that game, how would you describe the last run out and the moment and everything put together on the television comm box?
I think from a cricketing scholar's perspective, you could tell right about the 15th over that the pendulum was slowly shifting over to Zimbabwe's way to get victory. But then, like you said, that run out, whenever you win a game, it's always emotions all over and you try as much as possible to contain yourself. But then the moment and the fact that Zimbabwe has beaten Australia makes it very emotional for the players. I mean, you saw Sikandar Raza out injured captain after bowling 2 overs. So he was kind of like on the fringes and kind of hoping that the game goes the team's way. And to see him running onto the field, congratulating the players, even though he didn't play as much of a role as he did, just goes to show how much it means to each and everyone in the team and how each and everyone in the squad can actually do a job for the team, whether you're playing or you're not. You've always got a role to fill, and it showed today.
Well, absolutely. Do you think that the early 2000 team is a lookalike of this particular team? Do you think some shades of the early 2000 team of Zimbabwe is having a look here, where the Flower Brothers, the Streaks of the world played, and so on and so forth? Do you think this is becoming that, considering Zimbabwe is hosting the World Cup next year?
I think there are shades of that. The fight that has always been a part of Zimbabwe cricket. But then it's also a cry from these players, especially after a victory like today, to the powers that be, that Zimbabwe needs to play a lot more competitive games against the bigger nations. Not only Zimbabwe, but all the so-called lesser nations, that if they play more competitive cricket against the bigger nations, then this will not be an upset per se. It could be a norm because the players will be equipped to play different conditions against the best, learning, and then the development of cricket as a whole becomes an umbrella thing for each and everyone. But yes, there are shades of that gutsy Andy Flower, Grant Flower strict era.
Absolutely. You played the 2014 triangular series between South Africa, Australia and Zimbabwe. Not bad. You bowled the Aaron Finch in the 4th match of the series. You want to take us through that moment before I go on to Noel David, another off spinner in waiting to join the discussion. Quick on that
Yes,
part.
so the emotions that they are feeling now, I've felt them before. So I know how important the victory it is today. And just want to say a massive congratulations to the boy. I'm wearing my test cap. I know it's not a test match, but I'm wearing it in support. And as we say in Zimbabwe, Nyika yese iri kufara, which means the whole country is rejoicing with this victory.
Absolutely. That was John Nyambu. No, John, stay with us. We've got another off spinner joining me is Noel David. Noel, India takes on Pakistan in 2 days' time. The atmosphere there is absolutely fanatic kind of a pace there. The only cause of concern, as we could see, is 64% of the rain. Uh, I have to ask you your views on Sri Lanka, considering you played there as well. We have stories of you as well. But Noel, what is your experience of traveling to Sri Lanka, playing during the junior circuit days, international days? How the weather is? It hasn't changed, nor has the stadium. Your views,
I
Noel
don't think
David.
nothing has changed in Sri Lanka. Neither the wickets or neither the conditions have, have changed. But one thing is that as the match progresses, as the week this thing, I think the wicket becomes a bit slower because they have a few stadiums where the wickets have black soil, and it comes to be become a little bit slow during the process of the tournament. But it's a lovely place. Atmosphere is great. The people out there, they enjoy the cricket. They support any team, but especially when Sri Lanka is playing, then you get all the tantrums thrown to you. You get that the you can I can say even people will start accusing you of few things there in Sri Lanka, but people there, they love the cricket, and it's fun to play out there, especially when we are playing India and Pakistan. We have to see the crowd who they are going to support. That will be a keen watch where the public, where the supporters will support.
Well, let me just read out the precipitation risk. Sunday's forecast for Colombo, as they say, predicts scattered thunderstorms with 65% chances of rain during the day and 25% during the night. But that's a forecast. We've been to Sri Lanka. We know what it feels like. The ground there is very well maintained. I mean, the rain that drops easily gets out. What do you have to say about the ground staff, groundsmen that we've seen there, which are hosts?
See, you are going to expect rain there because on and off you get those winds and the trains coming across Sri Lanka, or especially when the cricket is on. But when we played the Asia Cup in Sri Lanka, I never
Yes.
seen so many groundsmen or staff, who could get the covers onto the field. But now there are numerous ground staff there who quick they get the ground covered, the full ground covered with covers. They work day in day out practicing how quick they can get the ground covered. I think that's brilliant of the ground staff. The ground, what when we played, the ground was not so this thing, especially we played a lot of matches in Premadasa and this thing, but the soaking of the ground, the water does get into it really quickly. But we have to see how the ground staff at present, they are brilliant, and they can work as quick as possible to get the ground dry. So I think there shouldn't be a possible. Yes, there will be a curtail in timing or in overs if it rains.
Well, absolutely. You've said it right. John Nyambu, since both of you are coaches in your respective field right now, and you've played at the international level, how difficult is it for a finger spinner, wrist spinner to come and attack in the T20? First to John Nyambu, and then I'll come back to Noel David on this, because I know this can be a little painful subject for lesser spinners used in the T20. Over to John Nyambu, and then yes,
I
John.
think it's important that as a finger spinner, you assess the pace that the wicket needs you to bowl at. It's all about pace. You know that they're going to get at you, so it shouldn't be a surprise if batters start coming at you because they think off spinners are the easy ones to attack, which can also fall into the ploy of you being attacking. So you don't have to bowl an attacking line or attacking length. You just have to attack with your flight, with your guile, and then use the dimensions of the pitch, play around with your field, and also be a little bit clever. You know, when there's a need for you to slow down everything, like between balls, do that. When you've got the momentum, rush it a bit. So it's all about clever cricket. And in Sri Lanka, we know it's going to spin. So you have to want to take up that opportunity to play a T20 match in spinning conditions that will favor you. So hold your nerve, play the situation, play around with your pace, your flight, and your field sets, and above all, belief. Belief as an off spinner is the big thing. Yeah, believe that you can get the wickets, believe that you can bowl well, and that's half the job done. And everything else always takes care of itself.
Well, absolutely. Belief is very important. We're going to talk to Noel David. Noel.
Interrupt.
Well, absolutely. Belief is very important. We're going to talk to Noel David. Noel.
Interrupt over here, and if you can also talk about that controversy that has erupted after Saqlain Mushtaq's comments on Pakistan television, because that is something that we all have to look at.
Well, Noel David, just to keep you up on the speed with this discussion, another off spinner, Saqlain Mushtaq, one of your tribe, we were discussing, we met last week in Dubai, has come back to Pakistan and said that India may tamper, BCCI may influence the outcome of the pitch. How much is that statement you're going to hold it against the great off spinner? Because
I can't buy these stories at all, yeah, with these Pakistanis. I don't know where they come up with such brilliant quotes or brilliant ideas. BCCI is going to tamper. How the hell are we going to tamper it? There are ground staffs there. There are curators there. There are BCCI curator, the ICC curators come. Where are we involved in that? Where the hell does Saqlain Mushtaq comes out from such ideas? Or Shahid Afridi comes out with such quotes? I don't know. Do they have little brains? Where is their brains? Is it in the knees, as I said before? How can that happen? I can't understand. Why will BCCI tamper the wicket? What role does BCCI play in this? Can anyone tell when it's an ICC T20 World Cup? ICC holds it. Where does BCCI comes in this? Do they have any sense? I don't know what, from when they get up from the bed, which side of the bed they get up from. They get up from the wrong and say, okay, today we will quote this, we'll get some mileage, we'll get some sponsor, we'll mileage this. I get a name, I come. Is Saqlain Mushtaq sleeping? Time to wake up.
by the way, his son-in-law is playing the tournament, and he's an off spinner in that. Do you think it's a planned way of just holding it on, and it's a escape route?
Then he should be more happy then. If BCCI tampers the wicket, at least his son will take some wickets. You know?
Well, that's an interesting point you've raised, because Shadab Khan is actually an off spinner and is bound to be in the action sooner than later. So, do you think it's an exit route, emergency route, rescue route?
They are finding all their ways to exit. You know, they are finding their ways. They are trying to play their game, their mind game, whatever game they want. But they have to understand that BCCI has no role in playing this. We don't conduct this tournament. The ICC conducts the World Cups. It's not a bilateral series, or it's not a Asia Cup, or even Asia Cup we don't conduct. It's nothing. Say where do they get such ideas? I need to go and ask them. Boss, can you tell us where we also can, quote when you hold tournaments?
Well, after the show, we're going to share the contact details and new mobile numbers of London.
Please. Though I have Saqlain in my Facebook, I need to ask him, Saqlain bhai, aap kahan se ye ideas leke aate bol ke?
Well, absolutely. John Nyambu, Abhishek Sharma is another important player in the tournament, not just Indian side. He's been playing good. He's been scoring at close to 200 runs. That's his strike rate. Does it bother you that the treatment he belts out to the spinners? And second, more important question, what if he doesn't play for India in the all-important match, considering he's injured? Are you scared of him as a off spinner?
We see the way that the wickets are playing in Sri Lanka. They are a bit on the slower side of things. So for me, that equalizes everything, especially from a spinner's perspective, because the ones in India are coming onto the bat a little bit more. So then the margin of error for the spinner becomes small, and the batters enjoy. But then when you come over to Sri Lanka, slower wickets, and now the batters have to use their pace to
Exactly.
hit the ball. Yeah, so now the spinner is in play now, and it's just about holding the nerve. And he could turn up, he could tee off, but then he could turn up and the one ball would hold for him. We saw it even earlier on when Zimbabwe played Australia, that the second innings of the game, it started to slow down, making it a little bit difficult for the power hitters, the Australians as they are, to be able to find the boundary at regular intervals. So it will be interesting how, if he does play, is he going to play the teeing off game, or is he going to play the situation, play the pitch condition, nudge the ball around, run well, get those twos, and wait for an opportunity for him to be able to hit the ball that is in the right area for him to be able to capitalize on that.
Well, you have a very unique.
To be able to capitalize on that.
Well, you have a very unique situation of Abhishek Sharma playing against a very unique off spinner who holds on to his last delivery stance. Just take us through before we wrap up our show. What is the situation going to be like when they face off each other, hypothetically, if they both are selected in the team? John.
For me, that would be a good exponent of good cricket. Whoever wins that battle will have, I think, probably wins the game, because the bowling has been good. He's been delaying his action. So if someone tries to run down, they tend to see the ball a little bit late. But I hope the controversy of his action will not take center stage in whatever the result will be. Just play the ball, don't play the bowler, don't play the action, and just enjoy a good game of cricket that the World Cup has been giving us thus far.
I would like to know whether he's been cleared, Sunil, from the ICC, because
that's the question I wanted to ask you. You're an off spinner. Would you, if you were to bat him in your local street matches in back home in Hyderabad, would you call him a normal bowler, or what would you call him?
One-stop bowler who stops and bowls. One-stop bowler. Okay.
One stop. That's an interesting take on.
Yeah, one-stop bowler, I will say, because he's delaying his action. He's delaying it, and he's waiting for the batsman to commit what he's going to do. I think that shouldn't be an issue, because people do it. Saklan used to do it. Saklan used to delay a bit, for a second or something, and then deliver it. So I think that, but the way he's bowling the action, what controversies have started from where he's delaying, point out delivery is very important. If it's high arm and he's delivering, that shouldn't be an issue. But if he's bowling from the side below the waist level and trying to bowl, then it becomes an issue. That's the controversy.
All right. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, but I thank Mr. Kalra, Mr. David and John Nyumbu for joining us and speaking to NewsX. With that, we're wrapping up this bulletin.